After being reborn, the first thing I did was send my pet dog to a dog breeding farm, all because in my previous life, my adopted daughter, Qin Jiao Jiao, had leukemia and was in grave danger, but her brother and fiancé, who had always spoiled her, ignored her condition. On my 18th birthday, my brother gave me a white toy poodle. My fiancé gave me a white jade piece pendant. A month later, I suddenly discovered that I had somehow switched bodies with a pet dog, and the body that had originally belonged to me had been occupied by Qin Jiao Jiao. Qin Jiao Jiao held a fire poker and scraped it over my body again and again. My brother and my fiancé even personally skinned me, chopped my flesh into pieces, and stewed it into a pot of fragrant meat. After his death, Qin Jiao Jiao and the others were eating dog meat hot pot. Qin Jiao Jiao smiled faintly and cursed at the same time. Qin Yu is truly an idiot. That bitch still dared to try to steal my man from me. Only then did I realize. So Qin Jiao Jiao's soul had been living inside the body of the teddy dog all along. She only had to wait until I had worn that necklace for a full month, and then she could take over my body, be reborn through it. I died with my eyes wide open, my resentment unresolved. When I opened my eyes again, I had actually gone back to the day my brother gave me the teddy dog. This time, I didn't say a word. Take the teddy dog straight to the dog farm, boss. Breed it for me. I want this female dog to give birth to 10. After the birthday banquet ended, my brother Shenwei and my childhood friend Bai Haoming finally arrived late. Shenwei looked guilty. Xiao Ye, I'm sorry. Something came up at the company and delayed me, so I couldn't make it to your birthday. This is the gift your brother brought you. See if you like it. As Shenwei spoke, he brought a white purebred teddy bear up to my eyes. My fiancé, Bai Haoming, also stood beside my brother and praised it enthusiastically. Big brother went to a lot of places just to pick out this pet dog for you. This little teddy is a show-quality dog and is very expensive. It's clear that Big brother put a lot of thought into this for you. Hearing Bai Haoming's voice, I suddenly felt dazed. I had actually been reborn. At the same time, I saw that white teddy bear dog, and I was so frightened that I kept backing away. Shenwei thought I was throwing a tantrum at him. He deliberately held the little teddy bear dog and took 2 steps forward. Xiao Ye, look, how adorable this little dog is. Shenwei's eyes were full of tenderness, but I fearfully reached out and pushed it away. The little teddy let out a yelp as I shoved it. Woof, woof. Seeing this, my fiancé instinctively turned around and shielded the little teddy behind him. Shenwei also immediately frowned. He scolded me angrily. Xiao Ye, you're really going too far. This gift was carefully chosen for you by me. Don't be so ungrateful. These 2 scumbags. Qin Jiao Jiao had already turned into a dog, yet they were still so anxious. At this moment, I came back to my senses. A slight smile curled at my lips. In my previous life, my brother brought back an orphan girl from outside and forced my parents, no matter what, to recognize Qin Jiao Jiao as an adopted daughter. From then on, Qin Jiao Jiao moved into our home, eating and living together with me. She quickly won over my parents. Even my fiancé Bai Haoming favored Qin Jiao Jiao more and more. He would often angrily scold me, saying I couldn't even compare to one of Qin Jiao Jiao's toes. Later, Qin Jiao Jiao was diagnosed with leukemia and was on the brink of death. My brother and Bai Haoming knew about this, yet they remained unusually calm. They sent Qin Jiao Jiao abroad and never mentioned her name again. My older brother, who had always been cold toward me, and my fiancé each gave me expensive gifts on my 18th birthday in an effort to improve their relationship with me. I had always wanted to raise a dog. My brother gave me a white teddy, and I was overjoyed. But this little teddy seemed a bit off. In front of outsiders, it was obedient and well-behaved. But whenever the 2 of us were alone in a room, this little teddy would become extremely irritable. Once, I wanted to give the little teddy a bath, but the little teddy was extremely irritable. It bit down on my wrist, nearly biting through half my palm. My parents were away on a business trip out of town again. There was no one at home. With no other choice, I had to go get a rabies vaccine that same night. And every night, I would take the little teddy to sleep in the same room as me, but that little teddy insisted on sleeping on the bed. One night late, I was half asleep and half awake, only feeling a hot rush on my cheek. When I opened my eyes, I realized that little teddy was actually peeing on my face. Its mischievous behavior didn't stop there. It would shit on my dresser. It would deliberately knock over all my cosmetics. Even the food I ate. It would deliberately lick it. And every time the little teddy caused trouble, it would deliberately lift its chin high. It would glare at me fiercely with an extremely hostile look. I even noticed that the little teddy's eyes could turn red. Its gaze was terrifyingly eerie, as if it were about to swallow me whole. The day after getting vaccinated, I held up my bloodied right hand and complained to my brother and by Haoming, "Bro, I keep feeling like that little dog is somehow not quite right, it's way too bad-tempered." But Shinwei gave me a good scolding. "Shin Yu, if you ask me, there's something wrong with you. Xiaomi is so well-behaved. It's usually very gentle with everyone. I think it's you who's messed up. And you must have been mistreating it in private. That's why it bit you." Bai Haoming also sided with his older brother, accusing me of having an extreme temperament and not being fit to raise a pet. Shinwei said angrily, "Wait a few days. If you don't like Xiaomi Lier, I'll take it away in a few days." I never expected that. Just 1 month after my birthday banquet, when I woke up that morning, I suddenly discovered that I had somehow ended up in a dog's body, and a woman who looked exactly like me was holding a poker high in her hand. She swung it down hard toward my head. I barked frantically. What came out in the end was a burst of woof woof woof. Then, my eldest brother and Bai Haoming appeared. They both held boning knives in their hands, intending to flay me and strip out my tendons. It was only then that I realized Qin Jiaojiao had never been sent abroad by them at all. Instead, they had used some method to suppress her soul within the body of a small teddy dog. My eldest brother and Bai Haoming had gone to such great lengths. I only wanted Qin Jiaojiao to take over my body and help Qin Jiaojiao be reborn. I am Shinwei's biological younger sister. I am Bai Haom, Ying's fiancé, betrothed to him since we were in the womb. Yet these two men closest to me, for Qin Jiaojiao's sake, not only skinned me alive and cut out my tendons with their own hands, but even stewed my flesh and blood into a huge pot of fragrant meat hot pot to nourish Qin Jiaojiao's body. Coming back to my senses, seeing Shinwei and Bai Haoming before me, I curved my lips into a faint smile. "Big brother, Haoming, I'm really sorry. I was too excited just now, which is why I frightened this little dog. This puppy is so cute. Brother, thank you for your gift." As I spoke, I held the little teddy bear in my arms. Then, I secretly and fiercely pinched the little teddy bear. The little teddy let out a deafening woof woof bark. I frowned slightly. Isn't this dog crazy? Why is it barking all the time? My brother, feeling sorry for it, dodged the dog. "It's because you're so clumsy. You can't even hold a pet properly." "Fine. I'll take Xiaomi Lier upstairs first. I'll put her on your bed." At that moment, Big Brother turned his head and gave Bai Haoming a look. Bai Haoming immediately took a jade pendant from his pants pocket. The jade pendant was flawless and pure white. Its shape was just an ordinary safety lock pendant. "Xiao Ye, this is the gift I prepared for you. This piece buckle is worth a fortune. We're about to get married. Let me hang it around your neck. And you absolutely must not take it off." Bai Haoming kept repeatedly reminding and urging me. He insisted that I wear the peace buckle every day, right up until our wedding. As he spoke, he eagerly tied the peace buckle around my neck. At this moment, I reached out and touched this peace buckle. The jade was cold to the touch, making every hair on my body stand on end. In my past life, on my birthday, my eldest brother gave me a little teddy, while Bai Haoming gave me this peace buckle. Presumably, in my past life, I eventually swapped bodies with the teddy. This peace buckle must have played a huge role as well. On the surface, I said nothing. I slowly returned to my room. At this moment, that little teddy dog had already turned my room into a complete mess. There was a very obvious yellow urine stain on my pillow. The cosmetics on the dressing table had all been knocked over onto the floor. even in the water glass I usually drink from. There was actually a clump of dog poop soaking in it. Without saying a word, I grabbed the little teddy by the back of its neck and smacked its little head hard more than a dozen times. The little teddy yelped woof woof from the beating. I glared fiercely at this beast. You little bastard. If you dare to cause any more trouble, I'll skin you alive, break your bones, and stew you into a fragrant meat hot pot. The little teddy seemed to have been frightened by my beating. It let out 2 whimpering cries. There was a hint of fear in its eyes. Just then, my eldest brother and Bai Haoming suddenly rushed into my room. My eldest brother snatched the little teddy from my hands. Qin Yu, you've gone too far. How could you abuse Xia Milier? It's just a little dog. I could hear Xia Milier's pitiful cries just now. To be so cruel to a little dog. You're simply inhuman. The eldest brother scolded angrily, his eyes reddening with distress. At this moment, I pointed at the cosmetics shattered all over the floor, the messy bed, and the dog shit in the teacup. What do you mean I'm bullying a dog? Take a look at the fine mess this animal made. Qin Wei, if you're so heartbroken over this dog, then eat the dog shit. As I said that, I picked up the teacup and was about to force it into Qin Wei's mouth. My eldest brother was so frightened by me that his whole body tensed up. He desperately turned his head. Then, reaching out with one hand, he knocked the teacup to the floor. Oh dear. Xiaomi Li has only just come to our house, so it's inevitable that he's a bit shy. Why would you get into a fight with a dog? As he spoke, my eldest brother could only comfort me in a helpless, gentle voice. Aren't they just a few cosmetics? I'll buy you new ones, and as for your bed sheets and duvet covers, I'll buy you 10 more sets, all made of silk. Xiao Ye, you have to treat Xiaomi Li better, otherwise. Don't blame me for not recognizing you as my sister. I slapped the little teddy twice on the head right in front of Big Brother. I still hope this beast can understand a little human decency, otherwise. Don't blame me for being rude. A dog actually wants to ride roughshod over me. It's simply a dog dreaming. Bai Haoming saw my fierce expression. He muttered under his breath in a huff. I really don't know how Uncle Shin and Aunt Shin could have raised such a fierce and domineering dot. Jiao Jiao is still gentle, with the bearing of a wealthy young lady. Although Bai Haoming's voice was very low, I still heard every single word loud and clear. I raised my hand and slapped Bai Haoming across the face. If you like Xin Jiao Jiao so much, then go abroad to find her. Go die with her. Why are you still getting engaged to me? Bai Haoming was full of rage, but he still didn't dare to lash out. After all, he and my eldest brother both know what's what. At a critical time like this, they absolutely can't afford to offend me. At the very least, they have to wait until a month later. Bai Haoming feigned a smile. Xiao Ye, you've misunderstood. There is only one person in my heart. You. As long as you wear the jade pendant I gave you properly around your neck. A month later, I'll give you a big surprise. My eldest brother, however, said nothing. He just kept reminding me, there's the wagyu and seafood I just bought in the refrigerator. Millet is a show-quality dog, so its daily diet has to be exquisite. It only drinks pure milk and eats wagyu beef. When I'm not at home, you must take good care of Millet. After my eldest brother and Bai Haoming left the room, I immediately ordered an iron chain online, along with a few bags of the cheapest low-grade dog food. You filthy beast. And you still want to eat wagyu. Why don't you go eat shit? I glared viciously at the little teddy dog. It seemed to sense it too. It hid in the corner, but that dog still looked at me with a sinister gaze, as if there were a murder theft grudge between us. Wait until the delivery guy brings the chains and dog food. I immediately tied up the little teddy and locked it in the bathroom. A filthy animal still wants to sleep on the bed. As for eating wagyu beef, that's even more of a pipe dream. Dogs should eat dog food, especially the kind that's designed to fatten them up, the kind with hormones. Otherwise, if a puppy doesn't put on weight, how can it please its owner? After that, my usually workaholic eldest brother started coming home to stay for a few hours almost every day. And Bai Haoming, who had always been aloof, also began coming to my house every few days. After not seeing him for a few days, both of them saw that the little teddy had lost a lot of weight. My brother held the little teddy in his arms, crying in distress. Bai Haoming even secretly whispered to the little teddy, "Jiao Jiao, hold on for a while longer. Just wait one more month, and you'll be able to switch bodies with Xinyu. By then, the two of us will get married, and everything will fall into place naturally. You can also truly become brother Xinwei's sister, and the two of you siblings can be reunited through the surveillance in the room." I heard these words spoken by Bai Haoming. Only then did I suddenly come to my senses. It turned out that Xin Jiaojiao was really my brother's biological sister. Although Xinwei and I share the same bloodline, we do not have the same mother. Back then, my dad broke up with his first love and then turned around and married my mom. No one expected that in the 3rd month after the two got married, my dad's first love actually came to our house. She was also holding a little boy in her arms. That first love said that the little boy was my dad's biological son, but my dad kept swearing to heaven he was with his first love for half a year, yet they never had any physical intimacy. Until that first love admitted that he had sneaked into my dad's bed after my dad got drunk. Although my mom was furious at the time, she still agreed to have my dad and that boy undergo a paternity test. The identification result showed that the little boy was indeed my dad's biological son. My mom was quite magnanimous, so she brought the little boy home and raised him as if he were her own son. That little boy was Xinwei. But after that, my dad's first love never appeared again. Could it be that Xinwei had secretly gotten in touch with his biological mother, and then brought home his other maternal half-sister? I felt uneasy and secretly saved the surveillance video on my phone. Then I prepared to have someone investigate. Meanwhile, even though my oldest brother and Bai Haoming noticed that I was not treating that little teddy well, they still didn't dare to show anything on the surface. My oldest brother kept giving Bai Haoming hints, telling him to keep waiting. As soon as the 1-month deadline arrived, their big plan would be complete. And of course, I couldn't just sit idly by and wait for my doom. I secretly found a friend and had an identical Ping & Co custom made. And the original Ping & Co, I wrapped it in gold. I made it look like a square Buddhist amulet. Taking this opportunity, I also contacted several dog kennels, until I discovered that one of the dog kennels was extremely irregular. More than 100 stray dogs were kept inside. All of those dogs had skin diseases. Their eyes were bloodshot, and they looked like rabid dogs. These dogs, both male and female, had been tortured beyond recognition, thin as praying mantises. I asked the dog farm owner, "How much does it cost to breed a dog?" The dog farm boss is a bald and tall man. Seeing me dressed in luxurious attire, he opened with a gouging price. At least 30,000. I remained calm with a smile and casually turned over 50,000. Right then, I showed the kennel owner a photo of the little teddy dog. "It's this little teddy. This is a show quality dog. You need to figure out a way to make it give birth as much as possible. Breed like crazy. Ideally, one litter should have 10 puppies. So, what can you do?" The bald boss pointed at the hundreds of mad dogs in the dog enclosure. "Our factory has so many kinds of dogs. Breeding more surely won't be a problem. But this little teddy is so small. Let me take a look. I also need to give it some strong medicine," the boss said as he handed me a bag of pink powder. "This is the strongest animal strength booster. Just feed it to the teddy. I guarantee she'll be full of energy. Then put her into my dog yard. And in just one day, I guarantee she'll get pregnant." I took the Dolly San and happily went home. I specially seared a piece of A5 grade Wagyu. Wasn't my eldest brother constantly telling me to feed the little teddy dog meat? Then of course I had to fulfill his wish. I was frying a steak in a skillet. Then I poured a generous amount of Dolly San into the pan. Dolly San carried the scent of butter. In an instant, the entire kitchen was filled with a strange smell, somewhat like curry. After finishing the meal, I set the steak aside to cool. I had just sat down at the dining table, preparing to take a sip of water. Just as the water glass came near my lips, I suddenly detected a strong fishy odor seemingly emanating from my water bottle. and there were a few pale yellow stains along the rim of the cup. I could instantly imagine this must be that little teddy who's up to its old tricks again. It must be that little teddy again. Splashing dog urine into my water cup. But when I left this morning, I clearly had that dog tied up in the bathroom. How on earth did it get out? Just then, a familiar figure flashed behind me. Oh my, you must be Miss Shin, right? I'm the hourly worker that the eldest young master hired back. My surname is Huang. Just call me Aunt Huang. Aunt Huang. Huang Caixia. In my previous life, it was also around this time, my eldest brother brought back an hourly maid, saying she was responsible for taking care of me, because my parents were quite busy with work. They went abroad on a business trip 2 months ago. There was originally a nanny at home, but last month, for some reason, the family's old nanny insisted on resigning no matter what. Since then, I've been the only one left in the huge villa, because I've always preferred peace and quiet. I never hired anyone else. Occasionally, I'd call a cleaning company and have a part-time cleaner come to the house to take care of the cleaning. In my previous life, it was today, my older brother invited Aunt Huang back home, saying she would work 5 hours a day and be specifically responsible for taking care of my meals and daily life. But Aunt Huang's cooking wasn't good, and she only ever went through the motions with me every day. I asked her to help me wash my clothes, but after they were washed, there were still obvious stains on them. The cleaning at Aunt Huang's home wasn't done very thoroughly either. Every day, her job was just to walk the dog. She made beef for the little teddy in all sorts of ways. She even made pork bone soup for the little teddy. In my previous life, I never noticed anything unusual until just before I died. Now that I think about it carefully, this Huang Caixia, her eyes and brows did bear some resemblance to Shin Jiao Jiao, and on Aunt Huang's cheeks, there were also a pair of shallow dimples. This was exactly the same as Shin Jiao Jiao. Dimples are a genetic trait. Could it be that the Huang Caixia before me and Shin Jiao Jiao are? As I thought about this, I didn't say much more. I nodded lightly and asked the Huang Caixia in front of me, "Did you see the dog that's tied up in the bathroom?" When I mentioned the dog, a hint of tenderness flickers in Huang Caixia's eyes. "Aw, I've seen it. That little guy looks pitiful. I'll just untie the iron chain. Now Xiaomi is playing in your room." I didn't say much, just told Huang Caixia to hurry up and tidy up the restaurant's cleanliness. Next, I carried the steak up to the second floor. Back in my bedroom, I found that my bed sheets and pillowcases were once again smeared with poop and urine by that little teddy. Even some of the nicer clothes inside my wardrobe had holes chewed by that little beast. There was also yellowish urine on them. Today's little poodle's fur is shiny and soft white, as if it had just bathed. Seeing the mess all over the room, I didn't get angry at first. Instead, I placed the steak in front of that beast. Bah, a beast. And my older brother still makes me ask you about A5 Wagyu. Fine, eat it. How could you not stuff yourself to death? What a waste of such a good piece of beef. As I spoke, I slammed the plate onto the bed. Then I pretended to sit nearby, casually playing with my phone. Meanwhile, I kept glancing at that little teddy with the corner of my eye. That little beast trotted around the plate a few times, sniffing the scent. These days I've been feeding it dog food every day, but the little teddy refuses to eat. The beast has already become thin from hunger. Now at last, we have seen good quality beef. The little teddy sniffed a few times, then wagged its tail and started devouring it hungrily. Seeing this situation, I gave a sly smile. Then I sent a message to a friend. I asked him to help look into Huang Caixia's background. You never know until you check. The results were shocking. Just a short few hours later, my friend had dug up Huang Caixia's file from top to bottom. This Huang Caixia is actually my eldest brother's biological mother. Not only that, she is also Shin Jiao's biological mother. It turns out that after Huang Caixia left my elder brother at the Shin family all those years ago, she never left Baishan City. Instead, she worked at a factory on the outskirts of Baishan City and married a factory worker. A few years later, Huang Caixia gave birth to Shin Jiao Jiao. Qin Jiao Jiao is my eldest brother Shinwei. That is, a half-sister on the mother's side. 3 years ago, Huang Xixia's husband, who visited the red light district to seek prostitutes, argued with another customer over a girl, and finally fought. Huang Xixia's husband acted without mercy, beating the other client to a pulp, damaging his nerves and leaving him a high-level paralysis. Since then, that man was sent to prison. Huang Xiexia was also fired from the factory. She completely lost her means of living. Meanwhile, over the years, Huang Xiexia had been secretly sending me messages to contact my eldest brother, and my older brother, who, dearer to his biological mother, cared even more for his sister Shinjiaojiu, so he brought Shinjiaojiu home, saying she was an orphan and a poor student. Then he forced my parents to take Shinjiaojiu in as an adopted daughter and moved her into our house. Aware of these situations, I kept a calm face. That night, after Huang Xiexia got off work, I tethered the little teddy again, and this time I not only fed it that dilly powder, I even bought an injection needle. I diluted the powerful laxative into a water-like liquid and injected it into its body bit by bit. By around 10 o'clock at night, little Teddy was lying on the ground, panting heavily. Meanwhile, I contacted the owner of the dog farm and directly sent the little Teddy to the dog farm. In the blink of an eye. It was the early morning of the next day. I just got up and found Huang Xiexia had already come to the villa. She was holding a cloth, preparing to clean my room. I deliberately placed the golden Buddha amulet wrapped in a safety buckle on the bedside table. Huang Xiexia is not a clean-handed person. In the previous life, she worked as a live-in helper at my house. I found out she had touched many of my jewelry. I asked Huang Xiexia to come into the room and let her tidy my dressing table first. When the drawer of the dressing table was pulled open, it was filled with gold, silver, and jewels. Huang Xixia's eyes lit up at the sight. I waved the huge golden Buddha amulet in front of Huang Xixia's eyes. Aunt Huang, do you like gold? Huang Xiexia was startled by my question. Like it. I casually stuffed the Buddha amulet into Huang Xixia's hand. Then I'll give it to you. This Buddha amulet was given to me by a classmate when I celebrated my birthday a few days ago. Although gold is valuable, this thing is truly too rustic. What's more, I'm currently wearing an amulet called Peace Lock that my white brother gave me. You don't know, white brother is actually my fiancé. He put a lot of thought into giving me this precious gift. While I spoke, I deliberately caressed the fake safety buckle on my neck. Huang Xiexia saw it and nodded in satisfaction. She couldn't help but remind me as well. Wow, this pendant is really beautiful. It looks valuable at first sight. Miss Shin, you must surely carry it with you every day. If you lose it, your fiancé will surely be heartbroken. Huang Xiexia spoke while listening to me say I planned to give her the Buddha amulet. She eagerly could not wait and immediately hung that piece of gold around her neck. Then Huang Xiexia took a cloth and looked around the room here and there. Then he asked me carefully, Miss Shin, where is that dog at home? Why didn't I see Xiaomi anytime? I frowned instantly. Aunt Huang, who is your master exactly? Me or that dog? I've already given that dog away. So stop looking for it. As I said that, I stretched lazily with great satisfaction. Huang Xiexia, upon hearing this, was so anxious she kept stamping her feet. But in front of me, she didn't dare show it. I saw Huang Xiexia holding her phone, sneaking into the kitchen to make a call. About half an hour later, Shinwei and Bai Haoming both arrived one after another. As soon as Shinwei stepped through the door, he called out impatiently, Shin Yu, get out here. Where did you send little Meili? Bai Haoming was also furious, his eyes blazing. Shin Yu, you're simply vicious. Little Meili is so adorable. Why do you have to go after it? At this moment, the more anxious Shinwei and Bai Haoming became, the more I wanted to laugh. I sat on the soft sofa and said in a calm, indifferent tone, it's just an animal. Why are you all so anxious? Shinwei seized my wrist and glared at me fiercely. Say it now, who did you give Xiaomi to? I shrugged my shoulders. I ate it, skinned it, stripped its sinews, and stewed it into a delicious meat hot pot. My eyes were full of playful amusement. When Bai Haoming heard this, he was so frightened he nearly fainted. On the other hand, Qin Wei was a bit smarter. He knew that I never eat dog meat. Qin Yu, don't be unreasonable. If you really don't like Xiaomi Lier, I'll take it away in a few days. Hurry up and tell me where you sent it. I parted my red lips. Since it's a female dog, and a valuable show dog, of course, I wanted to let it breed more. Xiaomi Lier is at the dog kennel in the suburbs. I guess by now, she should already be a mother. At my words, Bai Haoming's vision went black, and he nearly fainted on the spot. Huang Saixia was even more anxious, tears streaming down her face. Instead, Qin Wei was the calmest of all. He immediately rushed out of the villa and into the car, ready to go to the dog kennel and bring back little Me Liar. However, the price I offered the kennel owner was not low. When I asked the kennel owner to take the little teddy away last night, I specifically reminded him that I needed to mate it that same night. The sooner, the better. I certainly couldn't miss a scene like this. I also drove, following right behind Qin Wei's car. Bai Haoming drove with Huang Saixia in his car as well, and the few of us rushed together to the dog yard. After entering the yard, I saw the little teddy surrounded by dozens of wild dogs in the very center. The little teddy had taken Dolly-san. It had also been tormented for an entire night. By now, it was foaming at the mouth and lying in the middle, barely clinging to life. Seeing this, Bai Haoming anxiously picked up a club and swung it at the wild dogs surrounding the little teddy. Unfortunately, there were too many stray dogs in the dog yard. Just as Bai Haoming picked up an offensive weapon, a whole pack of stray dogs surged toward him. Even though Bai Haoming and Qin Wei both fought back, there were simply too many dogs in the dog yard to hold them off. Bai Haoming was bitten on the thigh by a black Tibetan Mastiff. Qin Wei was also torn by a big yellow dog, which ripped a chunk of flesh from his arm. In the end, it was the dog yard owner who stepped in. As soon as the boss blew the whistle, the wild dogs seemed to understand human speech and immediately returned to their own cages. At this moment, both Bai Haoming and Qin Wei were injured. Yet they were still extremely worried about the little teddy. Bai Haoming didn't care about the wound on his thigh. Instead, he first took the little teddy to the pet hospital for an examination. The two men were so worked up over a dog that they were practically crazy. This scene is simply both fun and hilarious. Bai Haoming and Qin Wei spent the entire day busying themselves for this dog. Meanwhile, I returned to the villa all by myself and slept soundly. I knew that the time still wasn't right. No matter what I did, the two of them wouldn't touch me. That night, Qin Wei brought the little teddy home by himself. His face was gloomy, and it was obvious he had been crying. I'm afraid Qin Wei already hated me to the core by now, but he still didn't dare resort to force, and only spoke to me in a soft voice. Qin Yu, I'm warning you not to stir up any more trouble. Take care of Xiaomi Li for another month, and I'll send her away. You're not allowed to take her to the dog pound. Otherwise, I'll fight you to the death. I raised my eyebrows nonchalantly. It's just a dog. If you don't trust me, then take her away now. But Qin Wei let out a crazed roar. No way. It seems my guess was almost right. If I want to switch bodies with Xin Jiao, I not only need to wear that peace buckle around my neck for a month, I also have to make sure that for that entire month, Xin Jiao stays by my side every moment. So, I suddenly came up with an idea. Oh, didn't you hire a part-time helper? Tomorrow, just give Aunt Huang a bit more money and let her stay at our place. From now on, let Aunt Huang take care of Xiaomi Lier full-time. Hearing my words, Qin Wei finally let out a sigh of relief. Early the next morning, Huang Saixia moved into my home, and her only job was to take care of that little beast. Huang Saixia really doted on that little beast as if it were her own daughter. She bathed it, brushed its fur, and even tied a lovely pink bow around its neck. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. That morning, as soon as dawn broke, Qin Wei and Bai Haoming rushed into my room impatiently. Bai Haoming ran to the bedside and pulled me into his arms. Jiao. It worked. It finally worked. You've finally come back to me. That's wonderful. Jiao. At this very moment, I rolled my eyes hard at Bai Haoming. Then I shoved him away hard. Raising my hand, I slapped him across the face with a loud smack. You sick pervert. Are you crazy? Bai Haoming. I'm warning you. Although we have a marriage contract, we're not married yet, and I will not allow you to act like a sleaze. Hearing my tone, Bai Haoming looked terrified. You are Xin Yu. I twirled a strand of my hair around my finger. Of course. If I'm not Xin Yu, am I your mother? Bai Haoming exchanged an extremely astonished glance with Xin Wei. He muttered under his breath. How is this possible? Xin Wei grabbed Bai Haoming's wrist. He muttered quietly. Don't alert the snake in the grass yet. Maybe the time hasn't come. Bai Haoming glared at me viciously upon hearing this. Then he suddenly tore at my clothes again. It wasn't until he saw the safety pendant still hanging around my neck that Bai Haoming finally let out a sigh of relief. Then the two of them walked out of my room. I changed my clothes and waited for the show to begin. After the two of them went out, the first thing they did, of course, was to go to the nanny's room to see the little teddy. I even saw a hemp rope tied around Bai Haoming's waist. So that's how badly he wanted to get rid of me. He had even prepared the hemp rope. But when the two of them arrived at the nanny's room and the door had just been pushed open, just then, Huang Saixia skipped out of the room. Huang Saixia instantly leaped into Bai Haoming's arms. Brother Bai, we did it. We did it. As she spoke, Huang Saixia was still holding a blood-stained hook in her hand. Huang Saixia's face was full of a wicked, mischievous smile. We finally made it. Early this morning, I discovered that I could actually speak human language. I have hands and legs, and I've already dealt with that beast. That damn dog. When I got up this morning, it even had the nerve to bark wildly. I used a hook to pry open its head and dug out all its eyeballs. Huang Saixia spoke with great enthusiasm. She completely failed to notice the expressions of surprise in Bai Haoming and Xin Wei's eyes. At the same time, Bai Haoming shoved Huang Saixia away. You old woman. What exactly do you want to do? Old lady. What old lady? Huang Saixia looked utterly stunned. At this moment, only Xin Wei had caught on. Xin Wei rushed into the nanny room and saw the bloodied, mangled toy poodle on the floor. Xin Wei let out a heartbreaking scream. Ah, Mom. Hearing Xin Wei call for his mom, Huang Saixia was also stunned. She hurriedly ran into the bathroom to look in the mirror. When she saw her own face, Xin Jiao was completely stunned. How did I end up looking like my mom? What is going on? At this moment, I was standing upstairs, so excited I almost laughed. I clapped for them smugly. Hey, Aunt Huang, don't you especially like Xiaomi Lier? How come you still killed that beast? Bro, you're really ridiculous. Calling a mother dog mom. Could it be that you were born to a bitch? Seeing this situation, they finally realized that everyone had been played by me. Bai Haoming shook his head like a madman. How is this possible? That peace pendant. I yanked the jade pendant off my neck. You mean this? My neck is made of stone, can't you all tell? As for the real one, of course I'll have it wrapped in gold and give it to Aunt Huang. At this moment, Huang Caxiano, to be more precise, she should be called Xin Jiao. Xin Jiao crouched on the ground, crying as gently as the breeze swayed. Can you only change your fate once? Am I supposed to live this whole life in this old body? Xin Yu, I want you dead. You're the one who ruined me. Xin Wei was so agitated that he coughed up blood. After all, his biological mother had already been brutally mangled by his own biological sister with a fire hook. And 2 of her eyeballs had even been gouged out. The 3 of them charged up the stairs like madmen, wanting to drag me down with them. Just then, I clapped my hands softly. Several burly men in black immediately rushed out of my room. These burly men in black were bodyguards I had hired in advance. They were hiding on the upper floor of my house. That group of bodyguards was well trained, and with just a few punches and kicks, they had pinned Xin Wei, Bai Haoming, and Huang Saixia to the ground. Even so, Xin Wei was still laughing maniacally. Xin Yu, your arrogance won't last much longer. Let me tell you. Your dad and mom are about to die. The entire Shin group is already in my hands. I am the only heir. When I take over the Shin group one day, I will definitely kill you myself to avenge my mother. Just then, a stern voice rang out from the entrance of the villa. Shin Wei. Who are you going to kill? The one speaking was none other than my dad. It turns out that Shin Wei, Bai Haoming, and the others weren't plotting against just me, but also my dad and mom. In my previous life, after I died, my dad and mom also couldn't make it back from out of town. Shin Wei bribed my dad's driver. While my parents were on a business trip out of town, the driver deliberately staged it to look like a car accident and killed both of my parents. In this life, the first thing I did after being reborn was contact my parents. I trust them 100. I even told them everything I experienced in my past life. As a result, my parents had already been on guard. They also ended their business trip early and rushed back to Baishan City immediately. Seeing my parents still standing safely and steadily at the door, Shin Wei frantically shook his head like a madman. It's over. This time, it's completely over. And my dad was even more furious at this illegitimate child. Shin Wei, you've truly disappointed me. Shin Yu is your own younger sister, and you actually wanted to kill her. Over the years, your Aunt Ma and I have raised you so carefully, yet you want to kill us. Shin Wei roared like a madman. Shin Donglin. Don't think I don't know. You've always been the most biased. You nurtured me only because you wanted me to be an assistant. As for the family fortune, you were going to hand it all over to that little girl, Shin Yu. On what grounds? Just because my mom was born in the countryside. You're going to abandon her, just because I'm not the son born to that bitch. You're completely biased toward Shin Yu. I'm going to kill you, you ungrateful bastard, and kill all of you. At this moment, my dad let out a helpless sigh. Shin Wei, you really are as vicious as your biological mother. Back then, I never even dated your biological mother, and you were never my son to begin with. You are the flesh and blood of my younger brother. But because my younger brother died young, and your mother was already pregnant, I had no choice but to admit that I had once dated your mother. The reason was simply to give you a home. Upon hearing my father's words, Shin Wei shook his head like a madman. No. Impossible. This can't be true. My dad was completely disappointed in Shin Wei. He immediately ordered the bodyguards to kick him out of the house. As for Bai Haoming, the Bai family's business had always depended on our Shin group. With just a flick of my dad's finger, within less than a month, the Bai family declared bankruptcy. Bai Haoming's whole family could only end up on the streets begging for food. Although Shin Jiaojiao had taken over Huang Saishia's body, Huang Saixia was already old and suffering from cancer. Within just a few months, Huang Saixia also died in the hospital. In the blink of an eye, I received an admission letter from a prestigious overseas university. I was preparing to study abroad and major in finance so that, after returning to China, I could inherit the family conglomerate. As for that dead dog named Xiaomi Li, in the end, I still turned it into a dog meat hot pot. But I've never eaten dog meat in my life. I sent that pot of hot pot to a dog farm. Let the broth and the food it came from go back together. The dog meat pot should be digested by that pack of wild dogs.